Hey guys, Pichu here, and this is the roster for the 2012 Pichu London Cup Series season. Let's start things off right off the bat with the number 1 of Jamie McMurray in 2012. He stays with DEI. In this universe, the 1 card doesn't go to Chip Ganassi, or Earnhardt Ganassi as it was called back then. It does stick with DEI. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated is still alive in this universe, so 2012, Jamie McMurray stays with DEI in the number 1. Brad Keselowski moves up to the number 2 car for Penske Racing. He's now driving the number 2 Dodge, and some might say this might be his year to win the championship. We shall see. The number 4 car will be driven by James Buescher for DEI. Yes, this is a car painted by Griff Dog himself for his What If Dale Earnhardt Was Still Alive series, and that he posted for download. I'll leave a link to the cars that he painted in the description below. This is one of the cars he painted. So James Buescher is driving the number 4 in his first season in the PLCS for DEI. So he's in the 4 Exide Battery Chevrolet. Casey Kane driving the number 5 for Hendrick Motorsports. He moves to Hendrick finally in the number 5. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. stays with his team, with his father's team, I should say, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, in the number 8 Bass Pro Shop Chevy, a new sponsor for the season. Marcus Ambrose does stay in the number 9 for Richard Petty Motorsports. Their merger does go through, and they are now known as Richard Petty Motorsports in the number 9. Number 10, it is Mark Martin, not Danica Patrick, in the number 10 for GoDaddy, the Chevrolet of Stewart-Haas Racing. Danica decides to wait another year and goes for a full-time run in the National Series instead for one more season before she jumps over to full-time Cup racing the next year in 2013. Mark Martin will take a wait year sort of, and he'll be in the number 10 for Stewart-Haas Racing for the full season in Chevrolet in this universe, so wanted to do something a bit different. Denny Hamlin now driving the 11 car, Joe Gibbs Racing. He stays with the 11 team. And Sam Hornish Jr. makes the jump to Penske in the number 12 car for the Dodge team. And then there's Casey Mears. Germain Racing launches a Cup team this year with the number 13 Machine Geico Ford. And then Tony Stewart, his team that he co-owns. He's in the 14 as in the previous year. And then 15 with Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer moves into the 15 for Michael Waltrip Racing. So MWR is active in 2012. It does happen in this year. So 15 goes to Clint Boyer. Greg Biffle in the 16 car in the 2012 season. He stays with Roush Fenway Racing. Matt Kenseth, and this possibly will be his final year at Roush Fenway Racing in the 17. I know some of you know where he'll go next year, but this for now, he'll stay with Roush Fenway in the 17 for the team. Kyle Busch in the 18 car, Joe Gibbs Racing. So Kyle still does move to Joe Gibbs Racing in the 18 in this universe. Number 20, Joe Gibbs Racing has Joey Logano in the Interstate Batteries Toyota, as the Home Depot sponsorship went to another driver, but Joey Logano running with Interstate Batteries in the number 20. And we know he went to another team next year, but for this year, his final year at Joe Gibbs Racing. And the 21 car will have various other drivers, but it will be a full-time team. Trevor Bayne will be among those drivers in the 21 machine. You're going to see Trevor Bayne's name as in every race, but it is actually with various other drivers, not just Trevor Bayne for Wood Brothers. There are rumors circulating that Trevor Bayne could be full-time next year in the Cup Series, but those are rumors for now. But Bayne is this year going to run in Wood Brothers number 21 for a couple races. AJ Allmendinger runs a full season in the number 22 for Penske Racing in the 22 Pennzoil Dodge. Jeff Gordon runs the 24. You know him. He's in the 24 Hendrick again. And the 25 car, Landon Castle, a new rookie, jumps in the 25 Hendrick car, running with National Guard as its sponsor. And the 27 car with Paul Menard with RCR. Also forgot to mention, because Dale Earnhardt Jr. in this universe didn't move to Hendrick and stayed with DEI, the National Guard and Amp Energy schemes are separate, so they will have separate cars now in Hendrick Motorsports, and this is their National Guard sponsored car, the 25 of Landon Castle. 27, as I mentioned earlier, Paul Menard's back with RCR. And Brian Clausen's back in the 28 for Robert Yates Racing. He is back running the 28 Home Depot Ford. That's where Home Depot's gone. Kevin Harvick in the number 29 RCR. He's back for another year at RCR For the 29 team, Jeff Burton running the 31 for RCR as well. David Reagan will be going on sponsored 34 for Front Row Motorsports. They're looking to seek for sponsorship for the full season. David Reagan is a promising name, so he's gone to Front Row, and we'll see how well he does there. And David Gillen is staying the 38 for Front Row as well. He'll be staying the 38 car with David Reagan as his teammate. Ryan Newman in the 39, he moves to Stordhaus Racing and has a new team with it, the 39 U.S. Army Chevrolet. And then there, the 40 car has Kenny Irwin Jr., another one of the cars painted by Griffdog. And again, all of Griffdog's cars will be in the link in the description below. Kenny Irwin Jr. is still alive in this universe. He goes back to Chip Ganassi in the 40. I think in the previous season, I believe, he missed half of the season because of a crash he was in Indianapolis. But he does come back the full season and rides the 40 for Chip Ganassi. Juan Pablo Montoya back again, a former champion. He's back in the 42. Now this is Chip Ganassi Racing, not Earnhardt Ganassi Racing, but you get the point. The 43, Eric Almirola, he does go in the 43 in this universe for Richard Petty Motorsports. And also we have Dave Blaney in the 47 for JTG Daughtry Racing. There will be various other drivers riding the 47, including Bobby Labonte. But the name will just be Dave Blaney on every race, because it would have taken too long for me to just change the name every other race, so it would have been way too long. It would have been tedious. So Dave Blaney's name is on the 47, but there'll be various other drivers in that 47 entry. Jimmy Johnson's in the 48, of course, you know him. He's back in the 48 machine. And Jerry Nadeau in the 51 joins Phoenix Racing. Jerry Nadeau moves to Phoenix Racing in the 51 machine for the new team. Brian Vickers, what if he never had those injuries that cut his career short? What if he ran a full season in 2012? We'll see what happens here, as Brian Vickers is in the 55 car for Michael Waltrip Racing for the full season with the Aaron's Dream Machine. Martin Truex Jr. in the full season, the 56 car, also for the same team. Kurt Busch does run a full season, the 78 for Furniture Row Racing. In real life, I believe he split his time between Phoenix Racing and Furniture Row Racing, but in this universe, he runs the entire season with Furniture Row Racing, while Nadeau runs the full season, the 51, for Phoenix Racing. Kurt Busch does stay one full season, the 78. The 83 has various drivers for BK Racing. One of them is Casey Elliott, and Elliott is running a partial schedule going forward. I did mention it was Casey Elliott, not Bill Elliott. It was Casey Elliott, the nephew, I believe, whose life was cut short in real life. But we decided to, what if he was still alive? What if he was still racing? And so Bill Elliott will actually be coming out of retirement to drive the 83 in several races. Casey Elliott's running also several races, and other drivers that are not listed here are also racing the 83. But I'm not going to be able to change the names of the drivers every race, so Casey Elliott's name will always appear on the 83's nameplate. So you know what, you get the point. 87 will be split between John Nemechek and Joe Nemechek. John Nemechek is also was a promising driver whose life was cut short, but what if he had the chance to ride in the Cup Series? He and Joe will split time in Nemco Motorsports 87 in a full schedule. The 88 has a new driver also with Hendrick Motorsports. Regan Smith now joins the 88 Brigade here for Hendrick. So welcome Regan Smith, welcome aboard to Hendrick. And Rob Moroso will leave the number 93 for BK Racing, and other drivers will also drive the 93 in partial schedules as well. It's another part-time car, and it's the last one of the bunch. Anyway, one more, and I will mention one more thing about Rob Moroso, but we'll get back to that a little later. Carl Edwards in the 99 for Roush Fenway Racing. That doesn't change. And finally, Adam Petty, what if he was still alive and still racing? Another season back in the 45 for Richard Petty Motorsports. They never left that 45. He never left that 45, I should say. And his paint scheme almost looks really identical to the one he ran in 2000. So he brought that good old colorful paint scheme back for this season that he raced in the early days of his career. So a little bit of a throwback sort of for the entire season for Adam Petty. Anyway, back to Rob Moroso. This will be his final Cup season. He's announced that he is retiring from racing after 2012, and he's decided to run a part-time schedule going forward. So a former champion is calling it a career after 2012. The great Rob Moroso will be retiring after the 2012 season. He's running a partial schedule, and then he will call it a career. He'll call it quits. He'll share with other drivers in that 93 BK Racing team. So this will be Rob's final season in the Cup Series, and we will miss him running in the Cup Series. He was a former champion, had many victories throughout his career, and Rob will definitely be missed in the PLCS universe. So he will be retiring after this season. That's the big retirement for 2012. Anyway, one more thing to mention. It's the last year we're going to be using the old Car Tomorrow cars. The models of the Car Tomorrow, I should say. And then 2013 we go on to Gen 6, which is the cars they'll be using until the 2022 season when they move to next gen. So it's going to be exciting to see how the final season of the Car of Tomorrow works, and we'll see what happens in this wacky world of the PLCS. So I hope you guys will join us for the ride as we are about to get the 2012 season underway and about to show you all 36 races all in one video as we've done in the past many times. I look forward to sharing you guys how the 2012 season went down. So anyway, I hope you guys will tune in to when that 2012 season highlights video goes up. This is Pichu London, and I'll see you later.